Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Gregory Martin, aka the Super Producer, and we're back with another video. But before we get into the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It keeps you notified whenever I post a new video. And with that being said, let's just jump right into today's topic. And in today's video, we're discussing my top 10 working movie producers. So I know I promised this video a couple weeks ago, so I'm hoping that you guys enjoy this video. This list of people are people who I really enjoy their work and I really admire their careers, different movies that they've made, their career choices, and just overall, I always get inspired by seeing the work that they do. And with that being said, I'm just going to jump into the first person on that list. Now this list is not in any particular order. I just wrote down these people's names, and I just wanted to make sure that they're included in this video, and just want to give them their flowers while they're still here. And the first person on my list is Jason Blum. So a lot of you guys may know him. He runs the production shingle Blumhouse Productions. He really came into notoriety maybe 10, 15 years ago. He did Get Out. He's been working with Jordan Peele. He did Us. Anything that revolves around the horror, this guy has done it. Especially anything that has been really good, he has been a part of it. One thing that I really like about Jason Blum, and I don't know if this was his initial plan starting out, but I liked his business plan of making these micro budget films. And when I say micro budget, he's not an indie producer where a micro budget film is something that's under $100,000. Micro budget in the studio frame of mind is, I would say like anything under $5 million. He has made it a niche, and he's done it really well of making these really high class, super popular, well-crafted stories in the horror genre, and he has been churning them out for decades. Whenever I see that the Blumhouse logo, I know what I'm expecting, and it's going to make a lot of money. And that's why he signed the deal with with Universal, because he's taking these $5 million, these $3 to $5 million films, and he's grossing $100 million, $150 million on each and every movie, and that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a huge ROI. I hope to build something like him. I don't want to restrict myself to one specific genre, but I think he's nailed down his niche, and he's calculated a formula that works and works well and works consistently. And that's why he's on top of his game. I hope to implement, on a grander scale, his formula going forward. The next person on my list, he's probably the least known producer on this list. I think he's the least known producer in the mainstream, and that person is David HEYMAN. If you've liked the Harry Potter films, Gravity, that's David HEYMAN, and he's done a whole slew of different films all in between that. You can't really nail him to one genre. He's just a very well-rounded producer. I've been following him ever since I discovered he was behind the Harry Potter series and some other things that I didn't know he was a part of. And then Gravity is, if you've seen my list of my top 10 movies of the past decade, you saw that Gravity was, I want to say Gravity was my first or second choice. He's just a really great producer. I more so connect with the movies that he makes. I just love that ability to not necessarily focus on one particular genre. He can work the entire gambit, and then his movies make a lot of money. Like I said, he's probably the least mainstream person that people know, but like I said, I believe everyone has seen his work and has enjoyed a David HEYMAN production. The next person on this list, I've always had a love-hate for this guy. I remember when I first got into acting, even before I think I was just getting out of college, and when that was my first introduction to him. I was invited to go see a theater play about this young writer, director, producer who had this really crazy backstory, and the play was really good. It kind of felt like going back to church. Very theatrical, you know, very stereotypical of like, you know, my family and people I've dealt with growing up. And that person is Tyler Perry. I see ever since from that time to now how much he's grown as a producer, how much his work has grown. Ever since then till now, his work ethic and his and the results are undeniable. One thing he knows his audience and he delivers for his audience 1,000% of the time. Now for me, from his catalog, I probably enjoyed maybe 25 to maybe 30% of what he's actually produced. But while he's on this list, it's not necessarily from all of the films that he's produced, because I'm not really a fan of everything he's done from a substance level. But just the journey that he's been on, from, you know, starting off, you know, small until now he runs the second largest studio in the state of Georgia. You know, all his movies make money. He's a brand. He does movies. He's on TV. He's on everything. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. He owns his own shit now. Like, that is so cool, especially for a person of color, to see someone like him do what he did in that what seems like a short period of time. Is just fascinating. Tyler Perry is the man. The next person on my list pretty much needs no introduction. He's been one of the IT producers for at least 15-20 years. J.J. Abrams, Lost. He's done all of the recent Star Trek movies. He's now into the Star Wars franchise. His credits are too many to list. Him and his team just do a phenomenal job of material. For him to be able to handle two iconic franchises at the same time. I mean, if that doesn't say that you're a great producer, I don't know what does. I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Trekkie, but the films that he produced or directed in the Star Wars universe, I really enjoy them. They're really massively enjoyable films. Going forward, you know, who knows what he's going to be doing. You know, he's just one of those guys who pumps out the content that we all watch on a year in and year out basis. He's just one of those super producers. The next people on this list, and I say people because this list is not just singular producers. Some people I couldn't separate one without the other. These next people on the list are DeDe Gardner and Brad Pitt. So about 2010, 2009, maybe couple years before then, there was this big wave, and I know actors have produced them before. This is not a new concept, but I believe around that time, that 2009, 2010 time frame is when these mega stars, these mega actors really start focusing on getting into the production game. Not just like having their name on the production, but really producing films. And Brad Pitt and DeDe Gardner, the films that they've done have been comparable to anything that anyone's done. Brad Pitt is a great actor. I just did not imagine him being a great producer. I was totally wrong and totally, you know, blown away with the work that he and his partner have done. They've done like Oscar worthy material in what seems like a short amount of time. Just the films and the accolades that their films have gotten. I think Brad Pitt gets much of the credit because he's like the big flashy name. DeDe Gardner, I mean, she has a very heft hand in getting these things done, the productions, things like that. It's just really good work. The next person on this list is another super producer. She is, I mean, I give it away by just saying she. Between this last decade, is it probably between her and J.J. Abrams, they probably produced like the most content for TV. And I think she may have a slight edge on him, and that is SHONDA Rhimes. SHONDA Rhimes is a force. There's no other way to describe her. When it comes to television, Scandal, Grey's Anatomy, pick a show on ABC. Honestly, either JJ produced it or she produced it. It's just insane, just the amount of work that these people have done. And again, you know, like Tyler Perry, her being a person of color, to have this type of success is just insane. From having the deal at ABC to now moving over to Netflix and getting a massive deal. I think she got like $300 million for like 5 years or some ungodly number to produce. Like, that's just insane. Shonda Rhimes has been behind so many iconic characters, iconic stories, and and that's why she's on this list. The next person on this list is probably not just one of my favorite producers, but also one of my favorite directors, and that is James Cameron. James Cameron, to me, is like one of the GOATs, production and directing wise. I love pretty much everything that James Cameron has done. Titanic, one of my favorite movies of all time. Avatar, The Abyss. His brain is so different. The other thing that I really admire about James Cameron is his background. He didn't go to school for filmmaking. He had more of an engineering background like myself, a science background. So that's one of the parallels that I really like about James Cameron. For me, that makes him very relatable. On top of that, he makes really well-crafted stories. The only thing I don't like about James Cameron is that it takes so long in between his last movie to his next movie. Before Avatar, I think what was like 5 to 10 years. It's just so crazy that someone can be away that long, and still, as soon as he puts something out, people rush to go see it. So yeah, that's why James Cameron is on my list of my favorite producers. The next person on this list is, for the past 10 to 12 years, he has had a hand in a film for the past 11 years that millions of people wait each summer for these movies to drop, and that person is Kevin Feige. I can't see you being a comic book fan and him not being on like one of your Mount Rushmores. If you think of a Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and Kevin Feige isn't somewhere maybe third on your list, then I just don't understand. We all ran to the theaters each year for the past 11 years and gave Marvel all of our money. I didn't even look it up how much money these films have grossed. From the Iron Man till the Avengers Endgame, they probably, I would say conservatively, they probably grossed over 11 to 12 billion dollars off of those films, maybe more. I may be totally underselling the fact, but for him to take a Marvel studio with IP that wasn't really proven and create this worldwide phenomenon. I don't think comic books had ever been so big. Those characters really didn't hit until Kevin Feige. You wouldn't have Chris Hemsworth, you wouldn't have the Russo brothers, immensely talented directors and individuals, but the mainstream wouldn't know about these guys without those films. From him believing in unknowns to be a part of that Marvel world, even having from Jon Favreau, to Josh Whedon, the A-list talent that he's cobbled together throughout this decade and put them in this environment that everyone has watched over the past, like I said, past decade. It's been something to watch. I can't wait till Phase 4 commences and see the new individuals he introduces. And I think that will test him a lot as a producer, to build these new stars into household names. The next person on this list is another guy who has had a very storied career. Like James Cameron, he will definitely go into the books as one of the GOATs in the producing and the directing world. Another guy who really needs no introduction, Steven Spielberg. Good night. No, I mean, like, Steven Spielberg, I mean, his career has spanned over 40 years. He's done live action, he's done animation, children's films, he's done serious stuff, done war dramas. I mean, he's done literally every fucking thing. Like, he's literally done everything. There's like nothing that Steven Spielberg has not done in his career. It's just so crazy for someone to be that creative and have his hands on so many things. He just runs the gambit of audiences and an age range that he can pull out his bag and have content for you. There's not much to say about him. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 producers who are currently working today. I hope you guys enjoyed my list. Please give me your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree, disagree, believe someone should be omitted, someone should be put on. Just let me know in the comment section below. But besides that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And that's all I have for you guys. Until next time. Peace.